Hello and thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show. Visa pour l'Image, the highlights from the world's biggest photojournalism festival in the south of France. 15 years after winning the French equivalent of American Idol, Nolwenn Leroy continues to enchant fans with a new album. And Audrey Hepburn's personal collection goes under the hammer. First, though, Stephen King's sinister, child-abducting clown with his red balloon is back in a new film adaptation of his creepy book. It, the film, premiered in LA this week. Its first trailer broke YouTube records as the most viewed trailer in a single day with nearly 200 million views. Take a look.
Way worse. I saw something.
Bill, if you'll come with me, you'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
I kind of went down to try to figure out what was scary to me and what I would find scary in a clown, and sort of unpredictable behavior and energy shifts and stuff like that I find scary in people. I want to incorporate that into the characters. You see, it works.
Not for the faint-hearted. Now, from the murderous drug crackdown in the Philippines to human trafficking in Nepal and the collapse of Venezuela, the Visa pour l'Image Photojournalism Festival highlights the big news events over the past months. The event in Perpignan in the south of France is in its 29th year. Julien Sauvaget and Clément Bonnereau take a look at some of the exhibitions.
Capturing world events with a click of the shutter. Visa pour l'Image returns to Perpignan with thousands of photographs exhibited in historic buildings across the city.
The venues include a convent, a cathedral and a chapel, which are no longer used as places of worship. What I find interesting here is not so much the religious side of things, but the fact that these walls have a history, while the photos we have on display tell stories of the contemporary world. It creates a dialogue which I find very interesting.
Wars and conflicts around the world feature strongly as always. This year, no less than 3 shows focus on the battle for Mosul. Other works document topics such as the refugee crisis and climate change. With more than 1,000 photographers from more than 60 countries, the festival has become a magnet for photography lovers and professionals alike. Sarah Caron was awarded the top prize in 2012 for her work on Cuba's Muslim community. She says Visa pour l'Image is an opportunity to meet new people.
As far as I'm concerned, I rarely meet colleagues out in the field because I work on topics that go beyond the headlines. I don't really cover the news, so that's why I don't get to meet other photographers. But here, it's really interesting to see each other, to meet again, to have this yearly follow-up. We talk about ourselves, what reports we've worked on. It's a moment for discussion and exchange.
At just 24, Isadora Kosowski is the youngest contestant. It's the first time she's attended the festival, which she says gives visibility to people and places that would be otherwise invisible.
So I feel that this is much more of a community event to celebrate the power of story than any kind of individual praise for me, because I don't feel that I create any of this alone. I cannot. It's very much a collaboration between me and the people who accept to have me intimately document their lives.
Many visitors are struck by the contrast between the beauty of the venues and the brutality of the photos, perhaps a mere reflection of the harsh reality in many parts of the world.
Now to one of France's most loved musicians who's released a new album. Nolwenn Leroy's emotionally honest songs and humble personality have kept the French people coming back to hear her music for the past 15 years. Elizabeth Walsh reports.
A new song and new album. Gem, a reference to the light passing through precious stones found deep within the earth, continues the bond between Nolwenn Leroy and her listeners. Since winning the French equivalent of American Idol in 2002, the singer from Brittany has charmed her fans with both her simplicity and emotional honesty.
It's true, I've had a special bond with the public for the past 15 years. I've shared some of the most beautiful moments with them, and I'm looking forward to finding that bond on the stage again soon. The songs are for the fans.
We like her because she's humble and simple. We hope she stays this way.
We love her, she's simple and really good.
Nolwenn Leroy has also enchanted some of France's most renowned composers, including Pascal Obispo, Laurent Souchon, and Alain Voulzy.
She loves people. She's down to earth and out of this world. She's mysterious.
Her hugely successful 2010 album featured traditional songs from Brittany. At more than 1 million copies sold, she has become one of the region's most celebrated musicians.
She's not full of herself. Her head isn't in the clouds. That's how we are here. We know where we come from.
Dedicating her time to organizations that assist the poor, such as Abbé Pierre and Le Resto de Cœur, the new mom is getting ready to head back on tour.
Could your wardrobe benefit from a dash of Audrey Hepburn's timeless style? If you've ever fancied owning something that belonged to the Breakfast at Tiffany's star and you have a few €1,000 lying around, now could be the time to splash out. A collection of her belongings is being auctioned at Christie's in London this month. Catherine Clifford takes a look.
A rare chance to step into the shoes of one of Hollywood's most iconic actresses of all time. Estimates begin at around €1,600 for a pair of Audrey Hepburn's ballet pumps. They're set to be auctioned at Christie's in London, alongside a range of other items from the late actress's personal collection. They include Hepburn's very own annotated working script for her best-known film, Breakfast at Tiffany's.
To attend Audrey Hepburn's open house.
I'd marry you for your money in a minute. So I guess it's pretty lucky neither of us is rich, huh?
The well-thumbed copy is estimated by Christie's to fetch between €65,000 to €95,000, though for their private collection director, it's hard to put a price tag on sentimental value.
There are certain parameters that you can use for some of these lots, whereas other things, like a group of silk flowers, for example, it's very subjective. What are they worth? It's hard to say. So some of the estimates might be relatively modest, but the market will ultimately decide on the day, because how can you quantify provenance? Because provenance is emotion, really.
Also up for bidding, the classic Burberry trench, a symbol of Hepburn's timeless style. And the Cartier diamond tiara worn in 2 for the road. Audrey Hepburn's sons say it feels like the right time to see their mother's belongings find new homes, after sending them around the world to raise money for her charity, which aids disadvantaged children.
And it would be a shame for these things to sit in a storage with air conditioning in the dark. For the last 25 years, they were part of a collection that was part of an exhibition that traveled all over the world and raised monies. They've already paid their charitable side. They always say, when you lose someone, take your time, don't make any decisions quickly. Well, we waited 25 years.
This black satin Givenchy cocktail gown's expected to fetch upwards of €16,000. But it's not the little black Givenchy dress Hepburn wore in Breakfast at Tiffany's. It was sold back in 2006 for over €500,000, setting a world record amount at auction for a dress made for a film.
Won't you join me?
Finally, after a 5-year delay, the Louvre Abu Dhabi will finally open to the public on the 11th of November. The Gulf branch of the iconic Paris Museum, designed by architect Jean Nouvel, is a landmark coup for the Middle East art scene. We'll leave you with some images of the Louvre Abu Dhabi. Remember our website. We're also on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.